Hello, everyone. I am Roy Garcia, and welcome to Content Marketing Insider. For this episode, honestly, it's one of those things that I'm really excited about because the topic we're going to talk about is something I've been curious for quite some time. And yet, I don't really know where to start. So, to have our guest today on this episode, it's really such a treat for me. Our guest is a Pinterest marketer who runs a Pinterest agency, and she helps out different clients and students to achieve more sales and traffic for their business or whatever their endeavor may be. Without further ado, I want to introduce to you to the very beautiful and very smart Heather Farris. Thank you for joining us here today at Content Marketing Insider.
Oh, well, thank you for the invite and that nice intro. I really appreciate it.
We're so glad that you can join us on this episode, and it's a brand new year, and there's nothing like having a very positive outlook for 2023. And before we go to the actual topic, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and of all the things that you can be you focused on? Why Pinterest, and what is it about Pinterest that you're so interested about?
I actually got started on Pinterest back when it very first debuted in 2010. I was a very newly married woman and I had a new child. And I joke quite often in lives and on my own YouTube channel and things that I couldn't cook my way out of a cardboard box. So I went on my Facebook. This is when you would post in third person and asked if anyone knew how a newly married, you know, stay-at-home mom could learn how to cook. And my sister-in-law sent me a text inviting me to Pinterest. It took 2 weeks to get on the platform. And once on there, I discovered this feed of pins and all sorts of recipes that people were pinning. And it just completely changed my life. I learned how to do pretty much everything in my life from this platform, from the time it was born and my life, my marriage, my child was born, to my business being born in 2016, all the way to today, us talking about this. I've literally, like, it was my search engine every day for 6 years straight until I started my business.
That's how she got started, everyone. And now 2023, she's now, you would say, an expert on this field. In fact, on this episode, we're going to talk about should you use Pinterest for marketing your small business in 2023. And so, why is Pinterest the platform where you can get some organic reach? How powerful is Pinterest anyway?
It is primarily a search engine. It's got two components. I like to refer to it as a two-sided coin. So on one side of the coin, it's a search engine. It's much like Google SEO. If you think about Google SEO and searching, looking at the autofill, looking at the related search terms within the search results, very similar to a YouTube situation or a Google. And then the other side of the coin is engagement based. So if you do really well in the algorithm on engagement, saves, clicks, comments, then you will also rank higher in your SEO in the search. So they play really well together. So there's really two sides of the coin. I think that's why it's just so different than any other social platform. I mean, it's lumped in with all these social platforms, but it's like a chameleon in disguise with the search feature.
So if I'm going to be starting on Pinterest, what would be the first things that I need to bear in mind when I start using Pinterest?
So if we were putting this show on its own Pinterest profile on the platform, the very first thing that we would do is establish the profile foundations. So your profile foundations include your boards, your profile branding, and then within your boards, you also have a title and description. So we would start with your foundations of who is the audience that we are looking to get in front of, and then use the keyword research that we would perform to inform our board strategy. So that's step one. Once we have our board strategy in place, so it's content marketing, right? We have content marketing, we have social media marketing, maybe we have how to create short form video. Those are 3 boards that we could create right away on Pinterest for this show. And then we would write descriptions, including 5 additional keywords. I like to say 5 by 5 by 500 rule, 5 keywords, 5 sentences, 500 characters. That's your description count. It's 500 characters. And that's for pin descriptions and board descriptions. So we would create that really nice SEO friendly title, content marketing strategy. Description, 500 characters with keywords relating to keyword content marketing strategy, how to create short form video content, whatever it is. And then you would brand your profile. So at the very top of your Pinterest profile is a banner. I call this like a billboard for your business. Like on the side of the highway, you're going 75 miles an hour. Maybe it's 90 miles an hour if you live in Texas. You're speeding along. You have this billboard at the top of your profile. When people land there, you want them to really quickly understand who you are, how you serve them, and in what capacity you help them. So if you were to land on my Pinterest profile right now, it would say, learn how to get more Pinterest traffic and sales with proven strategies. And then there's a URL on that banner they can quickly type into Google. Right underneath it is the same URL that's on the banner, which is linked in my profile bio. Do you want your display name and your bio and your domain claimed? This is all really quick information that people can consume to know who you are, how you serve them, and in what capacity you serve them. And then they can visit your website from that link right there. That's pretty much your profile foundations. Like once you have that established and branded, and you want to use the same branding that you use on your website or your YouTube channel or whatever it is, that way it's a really seamless transition from Pinterest to your domain on the internet. And it doesn't feel like they've just landed on on Mars.
Especially when people think about Pinterest, right? So, and maybe we can squash some stereotypes about the platform because I'm sure it's evolved since version one. How has Pinterest evolved so much, in your opinion, in your experience, since that it's now one of the most underrated social media platforms where people can get traffic and leads and all of these things in between?
You can park your content on Pinterest and it can be found as long as you do your job well with SEO. It can be found for years. Some of my highest traffic driving pins are 4 or 5 years old. I recently closed down my mom blog last year. Like I basically deleted it and scrubbed it from the internet, but some of the pins on my original profile are still there. You click on them, they won't go anywhere. But the traffic from that website, the pins were from 2016, 2017. Those were the highest traffic drivers. Typically, over time, it's like a fine wine. Your pins age with time, they get better with time. And the longer you're pinning, the more consistent you're pinning, the more content you're parking there, the better keywords you're using, the more engagement you get. It just builds over time. So I like to think of Pinterest as like a building a pyramid, whereas on Instagram, when you're posting on your feed, you have a 3-row feed and it goes forever. How often do people actually scroll down your feed? How often do you scroll down people's feeds? Never. On Pinterest, I don't care if people land on my profile because I'm still going to be found in search. It's really hard to achieve that same thing with TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram. Whereas on Pinterest, you can go there and search for how to create a content marketing strategy for 2023. It's a very long tail keyword, right? It's similar to what you would type into YouTube or Google. They will go there and search for that content marketing strategy 2023. And then your pins start to come up. So you're not relying on someone landing on your feed or just happening to find you in Explore, like on Instagram. People are finding you because you did your job well the first time with using SEO on your Pinterest images, in your pin title, in your pin description. The boards that you put the pin on is also optimized for search.
It's not just an ordinary kind of social media platform, but it
No.
really has a lot of juice when it comes to longevity. So if you're the kind of person who's looking at the long game, then Pinterest should be part of your social media strategy. Speaking of content, we just want to let you know that repurpose.io has a free downloadable guide just for you. You're thinking, how do we do content repurposing in 2023? Well, we've got a gift for you. Just go on the link that you see on our description. And it's for free, by the way. We'll be more than happy to help you out in this brand new year. All right. So we're back with Heather here at repurpose.io's content marketing insider. We're talking about, should Pinterest be part of your social media strategy in this coming 2023? Speaking of which, Heather, we were talking about content earlier, mentioning something about pins and images and all of that. Seems like Pinterest can be a place where you can put a lot of content. But coming into 2023, what kind of content should we be focusing on that can benefit you, not just in the short game, but also in the long game?
Yeah. So in the long game, you need to focus on your standard pins. These are your standard everyday still images that you will see. The majority of content on Pinterest is standard or static. Um, Long term, those are the pins that you want to be publishing on Pinterest because those are going to be your big traffic drivers and will become eventually your legacy pins. In the short term, to capitalize on the work that you're already putting in, maybe on other platforms, or if you want to create native for Pinterest, you want to create videos. So anything 60 seconds or less in current day, like when we're filming this, I'm just publishing a video on this actually today. Viral idea pins, I've seen a theme with this is they're 60 seconds or less and they give value and they have a really snappy hook. So it's very like TikTok-esque, but they're doing super well on Pinterest. And as long as you give value in them, so think YouTube Shorts, think YouTube content, long form content gives value. People walk away with something. You're not there to entertain. People don't want to see you dance to your smoothie. They want to see the recipe and they want to see the ingredients you're putting in your smoothie. So that's the difference between like a TikTok video and a Pinterest idea pin. They want to know how to make it. So teach people how to make the smoothie and utilize that short form video content in the short term to build audience and engagement who will then begin to see your standard pins.
I've noticed that you helped out many clients throughout these years, and if I were to be your client and I approach you, what would be the first thing that I would do when it comes to these short form content, like what compared to TikTok and all of that? What would you recommend to me?
One thing that I would suggest if I were onboarding a new client for if you're creating short form content, let's just say on TikTok, because that's what I do. I create on TikTok first. But when I'm creating on TikTok, I'm creating, especially with Repurpose. I use this tool. I love this tool. Um, I am creating for the platform that I ultimately want it to go on simply because I like the editing and the recording capability on TikTok. So if you know that you want to create a piece of short form video content on TikTok, but ultimately you want it to be an idea pin, then just create the idea pin on TikTok, but you're thinking about the Pinterest audience. So the example that I gave a moment ago, where on TikTok you might be showing a day in the life, I would show people how I make my breakfast and that I go on a walk and that I take my kids to school and those things. People on Pinterest don't care about that. The buyer journey and the user intent between the platforms is different. People go to TikTok to be entertained. People go to Pinterest to solve a problem. Same Google aspect in mind. They go to YouTube, they go to Google to find an answer to a problem, to search, discover, get inspired, not really necessarily to be entertained. So if you're creating on TikTok and wanting to repurpose, and this is what I walk clients through, we need to go through your content and vet it for the platform that it's ultimately going to be on. So if it's going to go on Pinterest and you created a smoothie, in the video, did you include any aspects of the ingredients for the smoothie? Is the content searchable and does it answer the pain point of how to make a smoothie?
That's very interesting, Heather. I mean, you mentioned that people, and to me, that's an eye opener. That when people go to Pinterest, they're not there to get entertained. They're searching for solutions. They're trying to find that one thing that they're looking for that's going to solve their problems. I think that mindset changes everything when you start creating content. Well, folks, if you're watching this, then go over to repurpose.io link. You can see it at the description below, and you can sign up for a free trial. Go test it out and geek out if you want to, and see how it's going to change the way you do your business and the way you do content repurposing. We're back with Heather right here at Content Marketing Insider. And but let's say, for example, you want to talk to someone who's entering the new year, starts having the idea of going into Pinterest, but feeling a little bit afraid or nauseous or whatever.
Yeah.
What would you tell that person?
Start small and build up. So, Pinterest being a parking lot for your content, that does not mean that you need to be posting 3 idea pins a day and, static pins every single day. I would start with what I like to call a minimum viable strategy. 1 standard pin per day if possible. and then do one idea pin per week. And I really want you in the beginning when you're very starting on Pinterest, you're very first getting started. I want you to start by flexing the muscle of building the content system for yourself. So that looks like figuring out how to find keywords on the platform and then figuring out how to create pins. And then once you figured that out, now we have to figure out how to write pin descriptions, which I have content on all of this on my YouTube channel. So you can literally shortcut it all and go learn. I want you to build the muscle of your Pinterest skill because it is a skill that you can learn. So I don't want you to overload yourself with having to do, 15 pins a day or anything crazy like that. I want you to start small. One idea pin per week, one standard pin per day, and then just practice that for a while. And once you get into that rhythm, like it takes me 90 minutes to do all my repurposing a week, you'll eventually get into it taking you an hour a week to create a full week's worth of content for Pinterest. And then you'll be just firing away through your entire content library, getting it all over there. And then you'll look back like 90 days later and look at your analytics and be like, oh my gosh, I have thousands of views every single month. And that'll pay off. And then my final parting tip is to not look at your analytics. If you have a brand new Pinterest account, do not look at your analytics for 90 days. Just don't look at them. Ignore that they even exist. I just want you to build the skill, because if you build the skill and you follow the system that I set forth for you, you will succeed over time. But if you look at your analytics and you start beating yourself up because, oh my gosh, my pins aren't getting any views or clicks, then you're just going to quit.
Wise words from Heather Farris. To answer the question that we asked earlier in this episode, should you use Pinterest for marketing your small business in 2023? The answer is a big yes. I mean, I'm excited already just thinking about it. And if you want to know more about Pinterest and how to market on Pinterest and everything in between, go check out Heather Farris. And we're going to be putting all the links on the description below, on the show notes. Heather, thank you so much for being part of Content Marketing Insider. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Roy. I really appreciate it.
And thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm Roy Garcia, and we'll see you again next time.